Hello. I hope you guys are doing well. I am doing this lesson as I've had a lot of you request this, and it's about time, excuse me there, for summer to get here. A lot of you guys are going to be applying for your jobs, and I've had a lot of you ask me this. So this was a short lesson I put together on job interviews, just reviewing some stuff we did earlier. With that, I want you guys to keep a few things in mind. One, I did my first job interview when I was 16, when I was around your all's age, and that was back in probably like 1993. So a lot of the questions are still the same, but things do change, okay? Things are different via time and culture, okay? So I have had a lot of students tell me, hey, Mr. Four, they asked me a lot of the same questions that you told me they would ask me, but I have had some new ones thrown in there too, okay? So I am going to try and go over those, but again, the best thing you can do is just practice with some mock interviews, job interviews. I can do those with you guys in class after we're done with our science content. But, it takes time, and just realize that things do change. So I'm going to give you the answers that I know to the best of my ability, kind of some general answers, okay? Let's see. So basically, that out of the way. So yeah, we're going through the job interview, and I do have that job board in the back of my room. It's a white piece of poster board. It is on the northwest corner of the room. Those are 40, right now I think I have about 43 jobs on there that will hire you guys. I either have a student who currently works there or one who has. So I only go with those places that I know will hire you guys. So with that, go take a picture of that job board. If I can find somewhere, I can post it online for all of you guys to access, and I can update as needed. I will do that, okay? All right. If you guys have an idea of somewhere that I can post that, please let me know. All right. So we're going to go through this again. Remember, I'm basing this to the best of my knowledge. I have had a decent amount of jobs because I was a bit nomadic for a while. And most of the jobs that you guys are interviewing for, I've either had that job or had something similar to it. Okay. And I also would interview people at times, for valet positions when I was a valet parking manager, also when I was a lead concierge, and for search and rescue. All right, so and a lot of this too is based on what Miss Lovell, our principal, told me, and you guys, well, if you're in study skills, what she looks for in job reviews. All right, so first thing, how should you prepare for a job interview? All right. Basically, I would say have 3 copies of your resume. I know some of you guys are kind of wondering why you need a resume. Well, one, it shows you're prepared. It shows you can put something together, and do a spelling and grammar check, which I know you guys are going to do, right? Since you guys do that all the time on all your assignments, when I tell you to write and complete sentences and check your spelling and grammar. Okay, so put a resume together just in case you need it. Make sure you are dressed professionally. Business casual is fine, guys, golf shirt or polo shirt, and some khakis or slacks, something like that. It's better to be overdressed than underdressed, okay? Ladies, I should actually get Miss Lovell to give you some advice on that, because I do not. Basically, if you just look clean and professional and have nice pressed clothes, you'll be fine, okay? All right, so what time should you show up for an interview? Show up at least 15 minutes early, okay? That means know where you're going, get there, show up at least 15 minutes early, okay? Don't run in right on time. You want to show up at least 15 minutes early. A lot of interviewers look for that, okay? Next thing, how should you interact with everyone you run into on your way into and out of the interview? In other words, the office staff or restaurant staff, wherever you are interviewing, always act professional, okay? Especially if you have a friend that works there, don't run in and be trying to all represent it up and being all loud, trying to get a lot of attention, okay? Be professional on your way in and on your way out, all right? And what should you bring with you just in case? As I said, actually bring a blue or black ink pen with you. And make sure that you bring a few copies of your resume, okay? So bring a blue or black ink pen and a few copies of your resume, okay? So what does showing up with your resume and a pen show? It shows that you're prepared, you can think ahead, and you have some organizational skills, all right? So next thing, what do you do when you first meet the interviewer, okay? So you meet them, and again, I'm going to give you, to the best of my knowledge, some generic stuff. Your situation may be totally different. Sometimes you got to read the room, what the situation is. But basically, you want to go up, shake their hand, put some muscle into it. I mean, you don't want to break their hand, but you don't want to just give them a wimpy little handshake, okay? Give them a nice, firm handshake. Look them in the eyes. If you get nervous looking people in the eyes, then look between their eyes or look at their nose, okay? Smile, greet them, and say, nice to meet you, or, nice to get to talk to you, just something like that, okay? All right, next thing, do you accept the offer for a beverage? If you are going to be sitting there for a while waiting, then I'd say yes. You can accept a water or something like that. That is something I never did, but that's because I didn't want to drink too much water and have to go to the bathroom if I was sitting there waiting for a long time for an interview, okay? All right, so when do you sit down and how do you sit, okay? So I would say when you come into the office or wherever they're interviewing you, don't just plop down in a chair, okay? Wait till they say, oh, please have a seat or sit here. Wait till they tell you to sit down. Don't just sit down right away, okay? And then how do you sit? You want to sit, straight up, shoulders up, confident, looking at them. You don't want to be slacked back in the chair. And all of you, my nomophobic students, you definitely don't want to be doing this, okay? I mean, if you're out in the waiting room, you kind of want to look at your phone for a second, that's okay. But, get rid of your nomophobia, at least for the time that you're doing this interview, okay? Make sure your phone is off or on silent. Just make sure it doesn't interrupt you, okay? Where's your focus? Your focus is on your interviewer. Again, if you get nervous, look at people in the eyes. Look between their eyes, look at their nose. You could even look at them. Look at them for a few seconds, look away, and then look back. That's perfectly fine, okay? All right. What state is your phone in? We just went over that. Okay, small talk. If you're interviewing for a customer service job, sometimes they're going to test you out with small talk. They don't want somebody that's just standing stoic the entire time, okay? They might, if it's raining outside in Las Vegas, they might throw something your way like, man, can you believe that rain today? And it doesn't have to be anything big. Just be like, yeah, I know, it's a bit rainy and I'm not used to that. Just something that shows that you can cooperate in small talk, okay? Not too much, not too little. Remember, don't discuss politics or religion. Those are powder keg subjects that set a lot of people off. So stick away from politics and religion, okay? Now, one of the first questions, and this is one a lot of students tell me they get, is tell me about yourself, okay? Now, my advice on this, and this is also something I looked for, and Miss Lovell said she looks for as well, you want to tell them a few things, but you don't want to just go on and on, okay? So I'd say stick with about at least 3 things, possibly 4, but you don't want too much, you don't want too little, okay? So, and this is funny, so because I'm going to tell you guys, the way I would answer this is, say I'm punctual, I'm a team player, and I'm willing to learn new things, I'm a hard worker, things like that, okay? Now, punctual is good. That means you'll show up on time, which I find it amusing that some of you are watching this video because you know as well as I do that some of you, for the love of whatever deity you believe in, cannot show up to class on time. But employers want to hire people that are going to show up on time and not call in, okay? So I'm punctual. I'm a team player. That means that you can work with other people and accomplish a task, which is what you're doing at your job. And I'm willing to learn new things, okay? Employers don't want to hire somebody that's arrogant, thinks they know everything. So you got to be willing to learn new things. It's good to share that, okay? And you could say something like, I'm, not picky. I'm willing to do the jobs that, I'm not, if you ask me to do some job like clean out the grease pit, of the fryer or something, I'll do that. I'm not going to whine and complain about it, okay? So that tells them, hey, this person's going to show up. They can work with other people. They're not picky about work. They don't whine. They don't complain. This is a good hire, okay? So I'd say give them those 3 or 4 things. Say that I'm punctual. I'm a team player. I'm willing to learn new things, and I'll take whatever job you throw at me, accomplish it, and I won't complain, and we'll move forward. There you go. All right. Next one. Why do you want to work here? So this one, in my experience, you can take one of 2 routes, okay? So let's say that you do happen to know somebody that works there. Remember, what did we talk about? What is the easiest way, excuse me one second. Oh, what is the easiest way to get a job? Well, the easiest way to get a job is to know somebody who works there, okay? If you have juice, as we say in the casino industry, okay? So, if you know somebody that works there, you could just say something like, well, my friend Mike works here. He says he likes the environment. It's a good working environment, and I thought it sounded like a great opportunity. There you go. That's all you need, okay? That's if you know somebody that works there, okay? Now, say you know somebody named Mike, Jason, whoever. Say you're applying at McDonald's, and, it's not the McDonald's that you're interviewing at. Well, it's still the same company, okay? So you could say, well, my friend Mike, Jason, whoever, works at a McDonald's up in, Northwest Las Vegas, and they said that they really like it, so I just thought it sounded like a good opportunity. There you go. That's fine. The other way that you can go, you need to do a little bit of reading, some research about the company, just know a little something about it. Just say, well, I did some looking at, what it's like to work here, the work culture, environment, and I just thought it sounded like a good place to work. It's a good opportunity. If you happen to be somebody who is a customer there, if it's like, I don't know, again, we'll use McDonald's. You'll be like, well, I come in here and eat all the time, and the people that work here seem happy, so I thought it'd be a good place to work. There you go. Great answer, okay? So why do you want to work here? There you go. 2 routes. Either I know somebody that works here and they like it, or I'm a customer, or I've done my research on the company and it sounds like a good opportunity, okay? All right. Do not say because I need money, okay? That is cliche. That makes your interviewer cringe. Don't say because I need money. Obviously, you wouldn't be there if you didn't need money, okay? All right. Next thing. What are your weaknesses? What are your strengths? All right. So this can be a tricky question for students. As far as strengths go, they say, what are your strengths? I'd say, well, as I mentioned when you asked me to tell you about myself, hey, I'll show up. I'm punctual. I can get along with other people. I don't create drama. I'll get the job done in as fast, efficient manner as I can. I will make mistakes, but I learn from them. I will just be that employee that you can depend on to show up and get the job done. Okay? So that's a good strength. You can kind of reiterate what you started out with. When they say, what are your weaknesses? Okay? There are 2 things I do not want you to say. Don't say, I'm a perfectionist. Again, that is a very cliche answer that everybody uses. And don't say that you don't have any weaknesses. Okay? Everybody has weaknesses. All right? It's kind of like when the lesson I gave you guys on the 2 types of perfect people. What are the 2 types of perfect people? Dead people and liars. Okay? There are no perfect people. There's nobody who doesn't have a weakness. Okay? But I'm sure all of you guys have done some sort of a group project in school. And every group project is pretty much the same in terms of how it gets accomplished. And this is one of the reasons I do not give group projects if I can help it. Why? Because there's 1, possibly 2 people that do the majority of the work, and everybody else is just sitting there like this. Okay? So, for the people that do the work, it's very irritating. They do all the work and everybody else gets the credit. So you can actually use that scenario to answer this, okay? Now, you are going to present it as if you see it as a weakness, and in some people's view, it could be. However, you're going to present it as a weakness, but in my view, it actually is a strength, okay? So when they say, what are your weaknesses? You can say, well, one of my weaknesses is that I get really irritated when other people don't do their jobs, okay? I get irritated when they don't do their jobs, but instead of communicating with them and having them step up and do their share, I'm such a hard worker that I step in and I do the work of 2 people. But that's not good because it doesn't promote teamwork. and that's something I need to work on, but that is one of my weaknesses. I will step in and do the work of 2, 3, 4 people, but it's not good because it doesn't promote teamwork, and I get irritated when they don't do their jobs, okay? So that, in my experience, my view, is a great answer for that, because it shows that you have some hustle, but you are willing to admit that you have a weakness, and use the word teamwork. And people who are interviewing love it when you use the word teamwork, okay? All right, so that is an answer you can use for that. All right, now next one, this one you may not get in high school. I have had a couple of you tell me you got this question, but where do you see yourself in 5 years, okay? Now, the reason they're asking this is they want to know if they are going to hire you and if you're going to work there for like a month and then quit, because they don't want to do that. They want somebody that's going to stay there forever, okay? So remember what we learned about playing the game, okay? Now, you want to play the game. Maybe you don't want to work at Taco Bell or wherever forever, but you're going to act like you do. Play the game, okay? Act like you are such a fan of Taco Bell that you want to have Taco Bell tattooed on your forehead. Taco Bell for life, okay? In other words, play the game. When they say, where do you see yourself in 5 years? You could answer like this. You could be like, well, if I were hired, I would see myself within 5 years having gained a lot of experience and skills and having moved up the chain of command, or, to something like at least, shift supervisor, shift manager, or something like that. Whether it be at this location or somewhere else, just somewhere where I can put my experience and newly learned skills to, some value, okay? So answer something like that. You see yourself working there in some sort of position that is above an introductory position within 5 years. It says you're a good hire because you are willing to stay at that company, learn new things, and move forward, okay? So that's how you answer that. Even if you don't plan on it, play the game, okay? All right, next thing. Why should we hire you versus other applicants? You guys may or may not, again, get this in high school, but I have had some of you tell me that you got asked this. So here's the thing. Do you know the other applicants? No, you don't, okay? You don't know if there even are any other applicants. They could be doing this just to see what you'll say, okay? Do you know the other applicants? No. Do you know yourself? Yes, okay? So I would answer this in this manner. Again, this is completely up to you. I would say, well, I can't speak for the other applicants because I don't know them. However, what I can tell you about myself is, and then you reiterate your strengths, what you told them about. Tell me about yourself. I'm punctual. I'm a team player. I'll show up and do the job. I don't complain. I get along good with other people. You can count on me. That's my strengths. And possibly some of the other applicants have that. Some of them don't. I don't know because I don't know them, and, that's basically what I can tell you is that you can depend on me and I can tell you more about myself if you want me to. Okay. So that's how I would answer that question. Okay. It is an honest answer because you really don't know the other applicants, at least most of the time, okay? All right. So what does that answer remind you of? That's kind of some of the philosophy I've taught you guys, that, you can't choose what happens to you, but you can choose how you respond, okay? You can't choose that you don't know the other applicants, but you can choose about telling them about yourself and your strengths, okay? Now, when they say, how did you hear about the opening? This is another time where if you know somebody who works there, it is good to reiterate, well, my friend Jason works here. He said it sounds like a good place. Employers, hiring managers, they like hiring friends or family of applicants because it's usually a good hire. Not always, but usually it's somebody that, at least in my experience, usually has, somewhat of the same work ethic, okay? All right, so how did you hear about this opening? If you don't know somebody that works there, you can just tell them, well, I saw your sign outside, or Indeed.com, or, something like that, okay? All right. Now, when they say, why do you want this job? Do not tell them because I need money, okay? And it's so funny when you all tell me that in class. You wouldn't be there if you didn't need money, okay? I mean, maybe some of you would, but I'd say, they know that, all right? Remember, play the game, okay? Why do you want this job? Don't say because I need money. Say something like, well, I'm looking for a job, and this company seems like it has a good culture. It seems like a good employment opportunity. It just sounds like a really great opportunity for somebody like me. It seems like it fits my values and what I'm looking for employment. And, just say something like that. Don't not say because I need money, all right? So why do you want this job? Say something about how it fits what you're looking for, okay? Now, when they ask you what is your biggest achievement, this is something you are going to have to put together on your own. I would say have something, one or two things you refer to. If you play sports, say something, you want it to be something to where you had to do some work. You had to show some grit to get to it. Not, something easy like, oh, my biggest achievement is I became a millionaire when I bought a lottery ticket. That's easy. That's weak. That's a very weak answer because you literally went in and paid, X amount of, $5 for a lottery ticket and now you're a millionaire. It's not like something you had to work towards, okay? So if you play, say, football, U.S. football, you'd say something like, well, I wanted to, run X amount of yards this past season, and I needed to get in better shape, so I got up and I worked hard every day, and I got myself in better shape, and I practiced, and by the end of the season, I had run X amount of yards in the game. My coach saw the improvement, they saw the growth, I worked hard, and I achieved. If you're an academic person, you could say, well, my goal was to get a 4.0 GPA, and it was hard. It was hard to grind it out, but I sat down, I did the work every night, and I had to push myself mentally to get this done, but I achieved it, okay? That's your big achievements, okay? Things you had to put in some grit and do some work towards, okay? Not things you were given, all right? So answer with actions, all right? Next thing, how do you deal with failure, okay? Some of you will get asked this, some of you won't, all right? What they are looking for here, you're looking for employees that can learn from their mistakes, acknowledge them, own them, make amends, and move forward, okay? So you're going to fail at things in life. Everybody does. So it's how you deal with that failure. Remember, you can't choose what happens, but you can choose how you respond. How you respond is what they're looking for, okay? So how do you deal with failure? Well, do you own it? Do you make amends? Learn from it. Big thing there, and move forward. Okay? So when they say, how do you deal with failure? Basically, I would say tell them you use grit, okay? Grit, in my view, in my experience, means that, hey, when I fail, I just learn from it. I learn everything I can. I work harder, and I come around, and I try again. I get up, and I try again. I breathe. I move forward. I get through it. That's how I deal with failure, okay? So you want to answer with something like that, okay? Now, how would you handle an angry customer? Okay. Now, this one, here's what I want you guys to think about, okay? I know I have a lot of you guys that, especially in class, you like to try and keep it real, okay? I understand that's possibly the way you view things, and maybe it works that way on the street. However, in most, if not all businesses, it doesn't work that way, okay? They're looking to hire somebody that can be professional, keep calm, and get things done, okay? Not somebody who's going to keep it real, okay? If you keep it real, you're going to keep it real right out the door after they 86 you, okay? All right, so how do you handle an angry customer? I would just say something along the lines of, well, I do my best to keep calm, but I need to own the issue. I need to resolve it. To the best of my ability. If I need to get a manager involved, I will. However, if I can solve the problem on my own, I will. Because, that's what they really want. They want people who can solve problems. Think critically and solve problems and get things done, okay? So I keep calm. I try and resolve the issue on my own. If I need to involve a manager, I will. And then I do my best to just keep it professional, okay? And that is a very good way, in my view, to answer this question, okay? All right. Now, this one right here, when they say, why do you want to leave your current job? Some of you have a current job, some of you don't, some of you have left jobs. Now, what did I tell you to write on your job applications for when you left a job? Do you want to keep it real? No, you don't. You got to play the game, all right? why do you want to leave your current job, or why did you leave your last job? Better opportunity. That's it. You're looking for a better opportunity. Okay? That's all it is. If they want more details, I don't know, say something like it's not working for my schedule. You know, they try and schedule me too late and I have to be at school in the morning and I'm not getting out of there till 1 in the morning. Something that is out of your control, okay? But instead of complaining about what happened to you, you're choosing to respond in a positive manner by looking for a better opportunity, okay? So why do you want to leave your current job? I'm looking for a better opportunity. I look at your job here as a better opportunity, okay? And I have some reasons why, okay? Play the game, all right? Don't say, oh, because I hate my manager, or oh, they don't pay enough, or blah, blah, blah. Don't whine, moan, or complain, okay? You want to play the game, keep it positive, okay? Now, and again, better opportunity. That's why you're leaving or you left, all right? What kind of work environment are you looking for? This one you're going to have to gauge specifically what job you're applying for. Are you applying to work the front counter or drive-through at Taco Bell where it's going to be crazy, or are you applying to work in a warehouse where it's quiet and you can just listen to your music on your earbuds all night, okay? Now, again, you have to gauge that. I would say you need to be able to work in both environments, okay? You're going to have to evolve, adapt, and survive. That is how you are going to survive in any job and move forward, okay? Learn new things, be willing to learn new things. What kind of environment are you working for? Know something a little bit about it. Just say, well, you know, I prefer to work with people. However, if I have to work by myself, I can. Not a big deal. You know, or I prefer to work by myself. However, if I have to work in a team environment, I'll step up and do that. You know, I am willing to learn new things and I'll evolve as needed, okay? So, play the game. All right. How would other people describe you? Okay. Now, this one, you want to put a positive spin on it again, okay? My teachers describe me as a great student who shows up to class on time. Some of you so be lying when you say that. But, and my teacher says I turned in all my assignments on time. And I'm never on my phone in class. Okay, no, don't say that. You could say something like, well, they describe me as a positive, upbeat person. You know, I'm dependable. I show up on time. I have a positive attitude. I don't create drama. And they see me as interacting professionally when we go out and talk with other people. You know, and I'm always willing to help other people and learn new things. That's how they would describe me. I would say answer something like that, okay? All right. You don't want to appear as, remember the lesson I gave you guys. The loudest person in the room is the weakest person in the room. Straight out of the movie American Gangster, okay? You don't want to appear as one of those loud, needy for attention type people, okay? Those are the first ones you get rid of at jobs because they create drama and they're bad for business, okay? So that's another reason why I emphasize that in class. You don't want to appear as one of those loud, needy for attention people, okay? And that is actually the reason for that. I want you guys to get out of that habit and be one of the quiet, confident workers that people can count on, okay? All right. Now, if they ask you, what do you like to do outside of work? All right. Do not say, I like to hang out with friends and listen to music, okay? I can't really think of anybody who doesn't like to listen to music and at times hang out with their friends or play video games or sleep late, okay? What they are looking for is productive things. Do you work on yourself? Do you work to improve yourself? Do you work to do new things? Do you have some grit even when you are not at work, okay? Things that show either you can be part of a team and get things done or you are constantly working to improve yourself, okay? So I would say play the game. If you don't play sports at the current time, it's okay to use past sports experience, use volunteer experience, use something that shows you can set a goal and work towards it, or you can work with other people and get something done. I play soccer at a league, and it's great because we're always practicing to improve. You know, I'm a runner, and I've started out running 2 miles a day, but I've been pushing myself to get better and run 5 miles a day. You know, something like that that shows you can either be part of a team or work towards a goal and get something done. That's what I like to do outside of work, okay? Now, this one here is a new one that got thrown at me. And in my view, you guys probably won't get this, but I did have one student who said they got a question pretty much just like this. A snail is at the bottom of a 30-foot well. Each day he climbs up 3 feet, but at night he slips back 2 feet. How many days will it take him to climb out of the well? Okay? Here is what I do not recommend you do. Do not sit there and go, oh, I hate math. Okay? Or, oh my gosh, this is going to be so hard. Okay? They want to see this type of question. What they're really looking for, at least in my view, my experience, they want to see if they can throw a challenge at you. Are you just going to shatter like a chandelier when it hits the floor? Or are you going to step up and say, well, you know, maybe I don't know the answer right away, but I'm going to show you some grit, and I'm going to show you that I can work and get this done. It might take me a little bit long, and I might get the wrong answer, but guess what? If I do, I'm going to learn from it and move forward, okay? So, if you don't know the answer to this right away, go, well, you could say something like, well, if you could do me a favor and write that down so I can analyze it and look at it, you know, it might take me a little bit, but I will work towards the answer and get you an answer, okay? Or, you know, well, I am not the best at math. However, I do my best at it and I learn from it. You know, could I get with somebody else, a coworker, if something like this was presented at the job and we figure it out? You know, basically you just want to answer this showing that you're not going to shatter when something is thrown at you that's complicated. You're going to step up, you're going to own it, you're going to grow, you're going to learn from it, and you're going to move forward, okay? So the answer, by the way, is 30, okay? But anyway, that is how I would recommend you answer the question. Just show that you're not going to shatter when a challenge is thrown at you. If you're working at TGI Fridays in the greater Cincinnati, Dayton, Ohio area, and you all of a sudden end up with like 6 tables and you get triple seated and everybody wants separate checks, you're not going to shatter. You know, you're going to step up, own it, and get the job done, okay? All right, next thing. And again, there are different jobs that have soft skills and some that have technical skills. That's something I can go over more later, okay? It's kind of like 2 types of casino dealers. You have dealers that are really good at the technical side and some that are really good at talking and entertaining people, okay? All right. Now, at the end of the interview, the interviewer will most likely ask you, do you have any questions for me? It's always good if you have at least a couple of questions, okay? Here's a couple of questions I would suggest, but again, here's what I do not want you to say, okay? Do not say, what does this job pay, okay? You're in high school. It's probably one of your first jobs. You're not really in a position to be negotiating pay, okay? But you could ask a couple of things. One is, well, if, and don't ever assume you're hired, okay? Unless they say, well, you're hired. Otherwise, say, well, if I were hired, and here's a question. You could say, if I were hired, what hours would you have available to work? Okay? It's a legitimate question. You're interested in the job. You want to know what hours are available to work. Let them answer. Listen to them. And then here is another good question. And this, in my view, my experience, is a really good question. I always looked for this when I interviewed people. Say, well, if I were hired, what chances for job growth or opportunities would there be for me within the company after I've been here and learned, you know, the necessary introductory skills? Okay? What you are doing with that is you are telling them, hey, I want this job. I'm interested. I like this company. If you hire me, I am going to stay here. I'm going to learn new things. I'm going to grow with the company, and I am a good investment. Okay? So that would be a couple of questions I would suggest that you ask. Okay? Again, what hours would you have available to work if I were hired? And if I were hired, what chances for job growth or opportunity would there be for me after I had learned all of the introductory skills and gotten through orientation period? Okay? So, let's see. The interview is now over. What is, in my experience, of course, the most professional way for you to exit? Okay? Well, when they say, well, we're done, stand up. What do? Shake their hand. How do you shake their hand? Put some muscle into it, okay? Don't break their hand if you're one of those big, huge people. But you know, you don't want to just, okay, put some muscle into it. Look them in the eyes. What do you say? You say, thank you. Thank you, and what did I teach you guys to do in your professional email assignment? You say, thank you. I look forward to hearing from you. Be positive, okay? Smile. Thank you. I look forward to hearing from you, okay? And then you leave, okay? If you want to, you can say, you know, hey, I have a copy of my resume. You know, if it will help, I can leave that with you. If not, no worries. You know, that you could throw in at the end too, all right? But anyway, so then you leave. And how do you exit the building? Quietly and professionally, okay? All right. So, let's see. That was your assignment that you needed to do. But, anyway, let me go back over here. Let me just go back to this one. Okay, so that concludes this little bit that I was giving you guys for this. Hold on. Let me, sorry, I did not have a good exit screen. I should have. I was unprepared. Can you believe that? Okay, there you go. There's my exit screen. All right, so if you guys have any questions, let me know. I am currently working on this document that you will be able to get and download and print out if you want, that has all of these questions. And otherwise, I hope you guys have a good day. If you have any questions, remember to stop by 919 and let me know. And yes, I'm perfectly willing to go through a mock interview with you or have one of my student aides go through one with you. All right, thank you guys. Have a good day.